Picture this. It's the 15th of the month. Your phone buzzes, payment due. And for the first time in maybe 10 years, you open that notification and there's nothing there. No minimum payment, no balance, no interest quietly stacking up in the background while you sleep. Just zero. I want you to sit with that for a second, because most people have never actually felt that. They've imagined it, they've said one day, but they haven't felt the specific physical weight that lifts off your chest when the answer to "what do I owe?" is genuinely nothing. And here's what nobody tells you about that moment. It doesn't just change your bank account, it changes everything. How you think, how you sleep, how you make decisions, how you see your own future. Today, I want to walk you through exactly what shifts mathematically, psychologically, and practically when you finally hit zero debt, because it's a lot bigger than most people expect. Let's start with the math most people never actually sit down and calculate. The average American household carrying debt holds about $104,000 in total. That's mortgages aside. We're talking car loans, credit cards, student loans, personal loans. And on that debt, they're paying somewhere between 6 and 22% interest, depending on the type. Let's be conservative. Say you've got $30,000 in combined debt, a car payment, a couple of credit cards, maybe a leftover student loan. At an average interest rate of 9%, you're paying roughly $2,700 a year just in interest, not principal, not actually paying anything down in a meaningful way, just the cost of having borrowed money, just handing $225 every single month to a bank for the privilege of owing them. Over 10 years, that's $27,000 that never bought you anything, never built you anything, never came back. And here's the thing that really stings. That $27,000 wasn't just spent, it was redirected from your future, from your freedom, from every version of your life where you had options. Now here's where it gets interesting, because when debt hits zero, something almost mathematical happens to your life, and it happens immediately. That same $225 a month, the money that was disappearing into interest payments, is now yours, completely yours, and it compounds in your favor instead of someone else's. Here's the real number. $225 a month invested in an index fund averaging 10% annual return over 30 years, $452,000. That's not a typo. $452,000 from the money that used to be your minimum payments. And think about what that means practically. Most people don't get a raise of $225 a month. Most people don't find $225 a month in their budget. But people who eliminate debt don't find it, they free it. It was always there. It was just flowing in the wrong direction. This is what I mean when I say zero debt doesn't just feel different. The arithmetic of your life literally changes direction. Now here's the part most financial videos skip, and honestly, it might be more important than the math. When you carry debt, every financial decision you make is slightly distorted. Every purchase, every opportunity, every risk, it gets filtered through this background noise of, "but I still owe money." It's like trying to think clearly in a room where someone's always playing music just loud enough to be distracting. Researchers of Princeton actually studied this. They found that financial stress, specifically the mental load of managing debt, can temporarily reduce cognitive function by the equivalent of losing 13 IQ points. That's not a metaphor. That's measurable cognitive drag. The mental overhead of owing money is quietly making you worse at thinking. And when that weight disappears, people describe it as clarity, not just relief, clarity. Suddenly, you're making decisions from a position of choice, not a position of obligation. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Is this actually what I want?" Those are completely different questions. One comes from scarcity, the other comes from power. You may think it's just about the money, but what you're actually getting back is your mental space. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Okay, but I still have bills. I still have a mortgage. Zero debt doesn't mean unlimited freedom. And that's fair. But here's what most people don't realize until they're actually there. Debt doesn't just cost you money, it costs you options. Specifically, it costs you the ability to take intelligent risks. Think about it. When you're carrying $1,400 in monthly debt payments, you can't take a lower-paying job you'd love. You can't start a side business that needs 6 months to break even. You can't weather a job loss without immediate panic. You can't say no to a bad situation at work because you need that paycheck. Debt is the reason so many people stay stuck in jobs, relationships, and cities they've outgrown. Not because they're weak, because they're genuinely financially trapped. The moment debt hits zero, the calculus on every one of those decisions changes. You can take the pay cut. You can take the risk. You can say no. You can wait. That's not a small thing. That's the difference between living your life and managing your obligations. Here's something I find genuinely fascinating about people who've paid off significant debt, and I've talked to a lot of them. It's not that they have more money, it's that they become different decision makers. When you spend 2, 3, 5 years systematically eliminating debt, you've actually built something beyond a zero balance. You've built discipline. You've built the proven ability to delay gratification, to execute a long-term plan, to say no to short-term comfort for long-term gain. And that skill, that psychological muscle, it transfers directly into building wealth. The same person who paid off $40,000 in 3 years and then starts investing with the same intensity, that's someone who's genuinely going to be wealthy in 10 years. Not because they got lucky, because they already proved they could execute. Most people think debt freedom is the finish line. It's actually the starting line. The real race begins the moment the debt is gone. So here's the honest truth I want you to walk away with today. Zero debt isn't just a number, it's a different operating system for your life. It changes what you can do, what you can risk, how clearly you think, and what kind of future you're actually building toward. The math is real. The $27,000 in interest you stop paying, the $452,000 that starts compounding in your favor. But the bigger shift is the one that happens inside your head. The quiet, the clarity, the sense that you're finally working for yourself instead of everyone you owe. If you're on the path right now, making payments, cutting spending, chipping away at the balance, I want you to hear this. Keep going. The version of your life on the other side of zero is not just more comfortable, it is fundamentally more free. Pick your highest interest debt today. Calculate the exact month you'll pay it off at your current rate. Then calculate what happens if you add just $100 more per month. Watch how fast the finish line moves. That's where it starts, with one number and one decision. Drop a money sign in the comments if you're currently working towards zero and tell me how far you've come. I want to hear your number.